We have a game with background color and some text. Let's make things change a little bit. Let's do a little simple animation and see how Arcade does animations. First, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. I see that PyCharm's warning me here. What's wrong? Why is there a squiggly line there? And in Python style, the PEP 8 is what's called the Python style guide. It wants two lines in between here, and I can either add the line manually or I can let PyCharm do it for me, and that's Command-Alt-J. Oh, actually I got that wrong. Command-Alt-L. Reformat code, Command-Alt-L. So now I got rid of that squiggly. The next housekeeping thing I want to do, there's kind of a convention when you're writing games, is to define some constants, some variables that hold a value. And there's kind of a convention to define constants for the name of your game and the size of your window and put that at the top of the screen. So I'm going to define a variable, all caps game under title, and all caps is a kind of a way of telling people that this is a variable that will never change. That's called a constant. I'm going to call this coin game. I'm going to make a new line, and I'm going to define the height of the window. Same thing, all uppercase, 600. And then I'm going to define the width of the window, also a 600. Now I can go and change these values to be the constants. So game title, window height, and window width. I do want to make sure that I've got this right on the order. I can go look at this function, but also PyCharm will kind of help me a little bit on this. And it's width first. Okay, so I had that wrong, I believe. Game title, and then window width, and window height. We'll rerun this, make sure it still works, and my game still works. Now, on to the animation. What we want to do is take this drawing of text and have it animate a little bit, have it change over time. So the first thing I'm going to do is take out this line and put it into a function that is going to be the function that gets called as time passes. So I'm going to call this function onDraw. And Arcade's going to pass in how much time has passed since the last time we ran this function. And by convention, we'll call that delta time. So what I want to do is I want to take the start render, or actually I'll just take this line. I'm going to move it up using Alt-Shift. Alt-Shift, move this all the way up. And then I'm going to use Arcade's facility for scheduling a function that will get called every time we need to animate something, and that's called schedule. Arcade schedule, and the function is onDraw. And I don't want to call that function, just want to pass the function to the, I want to pass this as the first argument of that, and how often this scheduler should fire. And in this case, we want it to call every half a second. All right, with that in mind, I've still got the squiggly, so I'm going to use the Command-Alt-L trick again to reformat my code. And I'm going to run. And I see some flashing, and that's because of the way I've done this rendering. I'm going to move this line for rendering up to here. Now when I run, I don't have the flashing, but there's no animation. So let's fix that. And let's have the delta time, meaning how long it's been since the last time I was called, displayed with the title text. And so I could say, give me a label drawing example, and also add on to that text, put a space there, add on the text the delta time. This is going to give me an error because delta time is a number instead of a string. So I need to convert this to a string using a Python function. And now that this is we're making a string out of a number so that we can add it to another string. When I run this, I see that it's been, not quite half a second. Sometimes it's more than half a second. Sometimes it's less than half a second, is the interval since the last time my drawing function was called. Meaning we said every half a second, call that function. What does calling that function do? It starts up some rendering and it draws some text.